Am I the asshole for asking my parents why my wedding gift was significantly smaller than my sister's? My husband and I, 28M, 28F, got married recently, and my sister, 31F, and I were discussing the wedding after returning from the honeymoon. We are very fortunate to have grown up in a household where my parents made very good money. They were generous with us, but raised my sister and I to be hard-working and not dependent on them as adults. My sister and I both do well financially, as does her husband, 36M. My husband loves his job, but it is not one that has a ton of earning potential. He and I met in college, so I've always known this was his plan and we are very happy with our setup. During my discussion with my sister, she asked me if my husband and I were planning to use the wedding gift money from my parents to do a particular renovation for which we've been saving, but I was very confused because the gift, while extremely generous and appreciated, wasn't nearly enough to cover that. She told me how much she had been gifted and it was more than twice what we had been given. After that I couldn't stop thinking about why I had gotten less, so my sister encouraged me to ask, and during a call with my mom I couldn't stop myself from asking. Her response was that it wasn't my business, but since I did ask, my sister has chosen a partner that can accommodate the lifestyle she's used to, so they've gifted her accordingly. They also gifted me according to the lifestyle I've chosen. We are not entitled to gifts of any size in life, but I still can't help feeling hurt that my parents feel that my husband and I are less deserving than my sister and her husband based on income. Meanwhile, my parents are angry at both my sister and me for having this discussion and bringing it to them. TLDR. My sister accidentally revealed that our parents gave her a considerably larger wedding gift. Now they are mad at me for bringing up this topic. Not the asshole. There's a lot of reasons that would have made sense and been okay, including a simple, we're not in the same financial situation we were in when we gave your sister her wedding gift, but to make it about how much you guys make, is basically a passive-aggressive way of saying, you got less because you picked a partner we feel is beneath you. Not the asshole, and I don't understand your parents' reasoning. Seems like they just want to punish you for choosing a spouse that makes less money than they would have preferred. Honestly, if your sister's husband is so well off, why would she need additional money as a gift? What weird logic. Your brother-in-law makes more so we gift them more? Your husband makes less so we gift you less? Sounds backwards. Also sounds like they're punishing you for choosing who you married. But that's a weird way of gifting money. Your sister and husband make more so they get more money, and you get less because you make less. Does not compute. Am I the asshole for not giving up my bed for my boyfriend's daughter? My boyfriend has 3 kids, 12 female, 7 female, 5 female. A wildfire broke out by their house and the neighborhood had to evacuate, so I told my boyfriend to bring his kids to my apartment. I've known his kids for months and they're all great kids, but they're a bit spoiled. My boyfriend's oldest daughter has health issues and they were at the hospital getting her treatments when the fire broke out. The younger 2 were at home with their nanny when the fire broke out, so the nanny took the kids straight to my place and my boyfriend joined us an hour or so later. My boyfriend came in carrying his oldest because she was asleep and he didn't want to wake her up. He asked where he could put her down, so I showed him to the room that I had planned on all of the kids and the nanny sharing. Nanny is alive in nanny and I guess she didn't have anywhere else to go. Room has 2 bunk beds so everyone has their own bed. He said he didn't want her to be in the same room as her siblings because she was going to need a lot of rest and he doesn't want them to bother her. I asked where I was supposed to put her and he suggested my room. I asked if he meant only for a few hours and he said no, the whole night. I asked where we were supposed to sleep and he said we can sleep on the pull-out couch. I said I wasn't giving up my room so his 12-year-old can have her own room and he left with the kids and nanny. Now he's saying he needs to rethink this relationship because I wouldn't sleep on my couch for one night to let his daughter rest without her siblings waking her up and bothering her. Edit. To everyone asking why I have bunk beds in my guest room, my brother and Sil have 4 kids and I babysit 1-2 weekends a month. Nah. Parenting is a tough topic to broach. Personally, I think a lot of parents coddle their children beyond belief. That said, it's their choice. This sounds like it may just be a compatibility issue. Personally, I'd side with you. But I know a lot of parents that would be in his camp of doing anything for the children, for even the smallest of things. So you graciously opened your home to 5 extra people at a moment's notice, providing a bed to everyone, but if you didn't give up yours it wasn't enough? I realize the oldest was sick, but the other children did not have to be in the bedroom if they were not sleeping and there was a nanny there to ensure they were kept away from the older child. To me, it looks like a glimpse into your future where you will be expected to sacrifice anything he feels his children should be entitled to regardless whether it is your private property or not. JMHO not the asshole. ETA. Thank you so much for the award. Am I the asshole for telling my sister to focus on her own kids' names and worry less about mine? My sister and I are both pregnant at the same time. She's 30 and I'm 24. She has a 3-year-old daughter and is expecting a boy this time. She announced her son's name back in April and told everyone that the name was set in stone, so feel free to use the name in gifts and stuff if we want. I didn't announce our daughter's name officially yet. Some people know just because I was close enough to them and we were talking names. My sister asked me outright and I told her, "It's Oceana." And she was not impressed at all. She asked me what was wrong with a name like Elizabeth or maybe a little Beatrice or Margaret. I told her nothing for those who like those names, but they are not for my husband or me. She then said there's always Emily, Haley, Anna, Marie. I told her to stop. That we knew our girl's name before we even knew she was a girl and it wasn't going to change for her. She went into a Facebook mommy group and shared the name with moms and moms to be in there and wanted people to help her figure out how to change my mind. She went on a long-ass rant about how my taste in names is terrible and how she's shocked I would like a name like this. That I am ruining my child's life. I am rejecting all the beautiful, lovely names of the last several years. That her, Gatha and, Eugene are going to be envied and hated by my child and all future kids of mine for their gorgeous names. Someone I know is in the group and sent me screenshots of the post. She made sure that stayed up top for over a week with all her complaints and rantings. She also had some people more than willing to help. The last time I saw her was 3 weeks ago and she was giving me more names to consider. Rosemary, Vivian, Francesca, Lillian, Martha, Geraldine, etc. I rolled my eyes and told her to focus on her own kids' names instead of mine, and that she needs to get over it and stop ranting to the world. She told me not to be so dismissive of her and that I insulted her kids' names, which I did not, I just told her to focus on them. She told me I should not want to name my child something her family will hate. She told me I was rude to her and she had genuine concerns. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I think Oceana is a stupid name for the record, but it's none of my damned business. Not the asshole. It's not like you are calling your daughter Caligula or MILF, 2 kids I actually know. Oceana is unusual but not awful or offensive. If she doesn't like it then your daughter could choose to go by Anna, which isn't short for anything, so no one will think to ask. Your sister needs to butt out. Not the asshole. Yeah. That name is weird as hell, but it's not the worst name in the universe, so it's none of her business. Not the asshole. I think the old people name revival is awful personally, and much prefer your chosen name to her suggestions. And even if I didn't, who cares? They are not my kids to name, and your daughter is not hers to name. She'll just have to get over herself. There are so many truly awful names out there that would ruin a future, but Oceana isn't it. Am I the asshole for not allowing my autistic daughter to have this boundary? I feel terrible about this and don't know what to do. I think I'm probably an A, but I'm not sure how to not be an A in this situation. My son, 17, loves the color blue. It is his favorite color by a mile. His favorite TV show is strongly associated with blue, and his favorite superhero wears blue. I know those are silly things, but he loves sci-fi and comics, so those things are important to him. My daughter, 13, is autistic. She finds the color blue incredibly upsetting because it is associated with a hate organization that advocates for harming autistic people. Seeing the color is painful for her. My son's room is painted blue, and many of his outfits are blue. My daughter wants him to not wear blue clothing anywhere she can see. He refuses. I talked to my son, and he said he feels he should be allowed to wear his favorite t-shirt in his own home. I think he is right, although it hurts me to see my daughter upset. I think talking to her therapist about her aversion will help her more than banning the color, which realistically she will see in many contexts. Am I being unfair to her? Not the asshole. She's going to have to deal with things she doesn't like all the time in life. She can't demand for everything to be her way. Not the asshole. Daughter is allowed to dislike it but can't control what others wear. The color blue is literally everywhere. She needs to work this out in therapy. Edit. Thanks for the upvotes and my first award. Not the asshole. Accommodations need to be reasonable. If she hates blue, it's reasonable that her room is painted some other color and she bans it from her wardrobe. She has no right to make demands on other people's bodies. Not the asshole. I'm an autistic adult, diagnosed as an adult, so I don't know what your daughter's experience is like being diagnosed as a kid. But blue is everywhere. It's not solely associated with us, and she can't control her environment to have no blue in it. This is something she needs to work on in therapy.